Hey, we're smiling. We're smiling. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Yes, exactly.
Welcome,
No.
welcome, welcome to Raising Multilinguals Live, the informal chat session on the Tuesday afternoon. This
Mhm.
is this is the moment where I sit back into my chair and
Yes.
get Ute to come in
Yeah.
on Instagram.
I've sent you the request, so
Yes,
you have just to accept me and let me go in.
there you go. So now you're in the house.
I'm in the house
In the house. Yes.
in a moment. It's
I,
turning.
I
It's
cherish
turning.
this moment like we were talking a few minutes ago. I've been having a pretty rough week
Yeah.
for work and for in my private time.
Mm.
Had lots of this big work project that involves so many stakeholders. It's like an announcement we have to make, but all these group heads they all have different things to say about it, and then you get everybody to review and then change this, change
Oh.
that, and then we're finally ready to send it out, and then one of the different department head said no, we have to do this and that, and it's changed everything back, and so that's been taking quite a long time, but hey, that's part of my job.
Yes, and you said you're working for a Japanese company or with Japanese, yeah,
No, I'm actually
what?
working for an American company,
An American company.
but I was hired at
Mm,
the Japan affiliate
mm, mm,
way back in 2012.
mm,
And the company, it's a global company, so all the processes, they call SOPs, standard operating procedures, are all in English wherever you are in the world. So it's
mm.
very easy to like change countries and still, sort of keep everything going. So I was hired in Japan. 2 years later, I was switched over to Taiwan, because I wanted to go, not because of the company.
Them.
Yeah, so I moved to Taiwan with my son, but I was still working for the Japan affiliate. I was because I was working remotely. I've been working remote since 2012. So all this COVID thing, it no had no
Didn't change
influence.
much.
Yeah, on my job. And then I came back to Canada in 2015 with the family, and I continue to work with the Japan affiliate. So, but instead of during the day, it's now during the night, which
Yeah.
which is perfect, for me.
Yeah, that is. But the question I had is also how is the business culture? So you're saying
Mhm.
that there was a yeah. Here in the Netherlands, there is a lot about consensus. So you have a very flat kind of hierarchy.
Yes,
There's still some kind of hierarchy. You cannot say that's completely flat, but tendentially flat. But
this is a
that is
great
also
topic.
something
I think that
that it's
we can jump right into this. I think
yes.
it's very relevant to raising multilingual kids
Oh yes, because
because
you need to know,
obviously.
yeah, you need to know how it works and how even if you speak English,
That's
but in a
that's right.
certain business culture and the way things
Mhm.
are done, the way you address people, and the way you collaborate, the way you can identify who is who and who
Mhm.
is responsible for what and how to approach them if you have any kind of questions or problems or whatever. I had now in the last 4 years, I had several interns coming from different countries. And I had two that were from the Netherlands. And I must say that the way to collaborate with people with different cultural background is always very fascinating, but also their experience. They didn't have experience in any way. So I have my own kind of work culture, and it's very much I noticed in the last years, maybe also because I am in the Netherlands and because it's something that is very similar to the Swiss business culture, or also in academia is more or less like that. Well, in academia it's very hierarchic, but it's very much about consensus and very much about having a meeting and asking everyone, what do you think? Do you think it's okay? Da, da, da. And you know how I work, but it's uh, it's interesting to see how I had an intern from Greece, and now that she left just a few days ago, and another one from Spain before, and we had very similar approaches, but it's a mix, really. It's a mix from the Mediterranean culture, and then the more northern culture, and it's
Love it.
nice to find this kind of how can I say? Yeah, I like a mixed culture in business.
Absolutely.
I cannot. I can say now, and I'm quite old. I can say that I cannot work in monolingual or monocultural business settings. That's something where I feel like trapped. Yeah, it's the right word. It's like trapped.
I like Japan is a very very monocultural environment. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's everybody's sort of in the same way for most things, but lots of them think about different things, but they don't really say it. They don't really do it, and until recently, this working on a global scale was just not really a big thing. So I think I was in the Japan, environment at the right time where internet was blooming, and this global communication, the world getting smaller and smaller, was right at the good timing for me when I went there in 2003. And because just a year or two before that, you were still getting all these garbled texts when you're sending in different languages. It was still quite crazy. So I was there really at the right time, I think, when everything really took off. And being, in this type of environment, I always wanted to work, location free, time free.
That's amazing, yeah.
And I didn't know I could do it in my field of work, but
you can.
I was quite blessed. And once in, I was able to really make the most of my background. And that's what I was telling the interviewer when I was interviewing for my jobs, saying, I have a science background and a business background, but my main asset is my languages and cultural understanding. And this is what really allows me to be the glue.
Yes, the glue. Exactly. Yeah.
So and that's really what it's been. I've never been an expert at anything, but I've got enough understanding. I have a PhD in cellular biology, so I mean that says I know science to a certain degree, and I have an MBA, so I know finance, right? But
too modest.
The point is to bring that together on a global scale.
Yeah.
And that is really where my languages come in, and really in the cultural, background. Having grown up in Taiwan, having lived in Japan, and under like Taiwanese father and Japanese mother, this is all ingrained in me, and that really allows me to see both sides. But when I'm in a big meeting, we've got the American counterparts, Japanese counterparts, and they're going at it, and it's not like one side is right, one side is wrong. It's just that they're not saying the same things, and I'm in there.
But yes, but it's sometimes it's amazing sometimes when I observe that maybe two are speaking together and they are trying to find a solution or come to terms with something and so. And it seems like to me, maybe I'm a bit crazy, but it seems to me that I can see, like I can read in between the lines, and then I can tell he's not really meaning what he just.
That's right.
I mean, that's not what he's just said. And then they say, yes, of course, he said it just right. No, actually, he meant. And then the other person says, yes, exactly. That's what Ute said.
Yeah.
So this understanding of reading the air or reading between the lines or something. I feel it's something that comes like naturally, and I so often in the past I was like, why don't the others see this? Why don't the others notice this? Why do I have to explain it? And I was somehow very often, alas, seeing, okay, this is not leading anywhere, so we can just stop here because this is not helping. And then still after an hour of discussions and of another meeting, etc., everyone said, no, actually this doesn't work. And I was, why didn't I tell them before? Because
Yes.
you don't want to be the bad person that tells them,
Mhm.
actually, we're not going to work together. But
But the more
it's
I sit in meetings like that, the more I realize, you know, it's it's often not one-sided. Everybody thinks, you know, he's right and trying to convince the other to see his or her point of view, but it's really both sides saying things that sort of don't cross, and then
yeah.
they don't realize that. And
Yes, and actually what happens in the workplace can happen also in your family. So with your
yes.
partner
Mhm.
or with the extended family. I just see that Claudia Baricio is here. I met her when I was living in Firenze. Her daughter and my son are more or less the same age. We were pregnant at the same time. Ciao Claudia, bello vederti qua. And then there we have Vanessa, and your bilingual child is also watching. She's also in Milan.
Hi,
Oh no,
everybody.
no, I don't know. No, maybe I'm
Welcome,
mistaken.
welcome to this discussion about multilingual, multicultural working environment.
Yes, and we're transferring it now also to the private sphere, right? So
Mhm.
where you have maybe you talk to your partner that you are supposed to know more or less. I mean, we never know exactly a person, but then you assume that they understand what you're saying, but they actually don't.
No,
And then you say, "What this is." At the beginning,
it's so
someone says, "This
obvious.
is just men and women," and then you say, "No, actually, no. Please don't come with that to me. Don't start with that." But it is really an approach like from another planet, right? There's this nice book,
So
men come
I think
from Mars,
you're
women come
really
from Venus. But
hitting a great point, because when you say culture, the immediate reaction is to associate that with countries.
yeah,
But
no,
no, it's way beyond that. Like
it's
just
much more.
your family is a culture.
Mhm. Oh yes,
Any small social unit can have its own culture, which is why we say it's a family culture or a company culture. All
yes.
that. The more you know that there are different cultures in by definition different ways of thinking, it's always good to always question your assumptions
Hmm.
and be able to take a step back and sort of really have a feel for what the other person is trying to say. It's all easy to said, but yeah, I guess it comes back to when you really see it on a grand scale, where you've got like a meeting with folks in Taiwan, Japan, and then Europe and the U.S., and you've got like really different approaches to the same problem. It's a
Yes,
lot of fun.
yes, but I think I mean what we are actually doing with our partners in our micro society at home, in the family, and then maybe with extended family, or you have also your parents with you, so you have 3 or 4 maybe different kind of approaches. And then what we do there, we do it also in the bigger society, in the community, in school, in that kind of group, or when after school activities or whatever it is, or children also with their friends. In one group it's like that, in the other group you have a completely different dynamic, although you might think it could be better for whatever reason because you have the same interests, etc. But I think we have, or do we have more flexibility or more understanding about how this works, and are less judgmental, so we know from the beginning, okay, this is now something because you mean it maybe in that way. The other day, my husband was telling me something in German,
Mhm.
and I don't remember exactly the context, and I'm not going to that. But at some point, I said, "No, you meant it in the Swiss German way, not in the German way." And he said, "Yeah, well, you're tired, and you don't look that up." But so I can be more forgiving, and he can be more forgiving towards me, because you don't assume that the other person is meaning it in a bad way or in a way
That's so
that they
important.
don't want to make you understand, but they come from a good place.
Yeah.
I always assume that. But
People always tell me you're naive when you think,
no.
because I believe in what is there's a word for this in Japanese, Seizensetsu, which is everybody's born good, so
I,
everybody has good intentions, um, but the actions may be
what,
interpreted differently.
yeah,
So
what is the term in Japanese?
in Japanese, it's Seizensetsu.
Seizensetsu.
Seizensetsu. Uh,
Seizensetsu.
Setsu is like philosophy, I guess, or
Okay.
What is Seizen? Is it like pre-birth? Oh no, that's not birth. Zen is
Calm.
bonté,
Okay.
niceness, I guess.
Nice.
And say is birth, so the niceness pre-birth or something like that.
Yeah, or the basic, the root of it is nice or is kind,
And then
is meant
you're
meant
all
in that way.
born.
Okay. Yeah. And that is something, I mean, based on everything that is happening in the world, it's something that many people forget to have that kind of perspective first.
Yeah. So, but if you have that,
Mm.
and you start with the basis of trusting people, your odds of advancing in whatever you want to do is higher than if you start off with doubting people.
Yes.
Like very simple example is when I buy things on Facebook Marketplace, and I just send them the money. I said, leave. If you're not there, I'll send you the money. Just leave it outside. I'll pick it up. I just start with trusting the person. Doesn't mean there are not bad people out there. There are, okay, but 99 times out of 100, chances are I'm going to be okay. And that I've been okay,
So far.
all this stuff. And I buy lots of stuff on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
So but I know many stories with people who got conned, and if I do get conned, I'll just see that as a price to pay for believing in people, and I'll continue to do it because it's still not the majority. It's not like 99 people out of 100 are con artists. Right.
Yeah, and then you take the consequences. You say, okay, I'm not going to buy anything of that person anymore, and that's fine. But I think that requires a certain flexibility and a certain calmness, basic calmness, maybe.
If you start out with doubt, if you start with doubting people, the costs of that is higher than whatever damage that you could incur every once in a while.
Yes.
Right. That's I guess my point. Because if you don't trust a person, you go, yeah, okay, I'll go in a few days. I can't pay you now. Then somebody else buys that thing, and you don't get it. Right? So I just prefer to just I don't know, it's mine. I'll pay it. I'll go in through 2 days, 3 days, whatever. Keep it for me.
And I think it's also a way to approach doubters, right? As one of our topics, just so to say, is raising multilinguals. If you have some doubters and they say, oh, but you're too, I don't know, too naive, it's going to work. And you said, oh, no, there are so many who just don't speak anymore, who forget their languages, who abandon their languages, etc. And I said, if I were to listen to everyone who in my life had told me that I can't do things or that the things that I do are not good, I think I wouldn't be here. That's for sure. But it's really, the other day I had a similar situation with one of my daughters, and I said, as often as people just pulls you down, you just get up again. You get up again and you respond, and you show them that no, it's not going to happen in that way, and I'm not going to react in that way. So that's somehow a certain resilience towards doubters.
It's a simple concept. It's better to try it and fail than to not try it at all.
Yeah.
And I've found that most of the things I've tried, I've succeeded. So most.
And also in your way, right?
Yeah.
So it's not because it's not the following the mainstream and then you're going to fail. No, well, there are so many ways. It may not
be the way you thought it would turn out, but if you know how it's going to turn out if you don't try.
You don't. And it's actually also part of the whole journey, I mean, of the whole life, right? I mean, you don't know what's going to wait for you behind the next turn. But what did I want to say? Yeah, if you always think that you need to follow some rules, yes, but not all of them. And you can adjust them to your needs or to your capacities or the ones of our children, as we are talking also about children. So the school system, we were talking about the school system the last time, right?
Yes.
We're talking a bit about that. So adjust the school system. If it's not really like the 100% we wish, and not even the 60% we wish,
Yeah.
we make it somehow. We find a way to still go through it and make the best out of this.
Well, it's
Tough.
school is tough
It's tough.
because it's really important in terms of, if it's just the knowledge. I don't know if school is the most efficient way of going about it, but it's everything around that. The social aspects of a school, this routine, as in there's a institutional adaptation that you need to do when you're in school. I mean, if you're a super genius entrepreneur and you don't care about structure, I mean that's one way of living, and that's fine, of course. But school is a structural institution where you have to learn how to be in that society, that little society. That's being socialized. That's something kids need to learn over time. It's much easier to just send them to school to learn that than to teach them theoretically at home by yourself.
No, it's something else. Yes. Do we have any followers on Twitter or
yes, we have
YouTube?
A few on the other side. Well, welcome everybody. Let me put up the banner to say hello and folks to.
Please ask your questions and.
Is that what's coming up? Yep. So
tell us what you're thinking.
We've been talking about multiculturalism at work. I mean, that's where we started, and how So, originally, my idea was thinking, okay, how important this is as workers ourselves. We know all the benefits of this, so that's a huge motivation for me to bring up my kids in multiple languages, and let them see how this can be beneficial in their lives without this skill being. It's not like a hard skill that you put on your CV and go, wow, but when you use it, I find my multilingual, multicultural background is much stronger than my PhD in cellular biology and my MBA, because these are hard skills, and you put it on a CV and it impresses people. But if I put, I know a few languages and I know various cultures, it's kind of like anybody can say that, and it's not verifiable on the spot. They can verify my diploma for whatever I've done at school, but if I say I speak 5 languages, I mean, maybe I say 2 sentences in each language, right?
Yeah, but that's also on the CV. You indicate what level of proficiency you have, and you should indicate the one that has been proven, or at least that you can prove.
But none of them are proven. Like I can say I speak fluent Japanese, but I did do that test, the fluency test. But Chinese, I don't have the fluency test in Chinine. I grew up
or right? I cannot have any fluency test for Swiss German. It just doesn't exist. No, but I know what you mean. But I always struggled with this definition of soft skills and hard skills. Who defined them? I mean, I know who defined them and why they are defined this way, but I would like to just question this kind of separation of skills anyways. It's like telling you that, I don't know, being good at sports is better than playing an instrument. Why should that be? Why? I mean, look at some who play the violin. I mean, it's also quite demanding.
Yeah, indeed. But as employers, I think they need something to anchor on. They need like a standard that they can use to compare you to other employees. And what are the things that are known parameters that have, proven track record? If you have if you're in a competitive sport and you were number 1 in your province or in your country, that says something. Whereas if you say I can play the piano, if it's some form of provincial or national competition, you were scored the first. Yeah, I would say something. But otherwise, even if some of these athletes and musicians, they spend their lives doing it. But if it's not a very popular sport, right?
Yeah, well, and that popularity of sports depends also on the country. There are countries who
Yeah, exactly.
don't care about hockey.
That's
come
right.
here, you come to Canada, and hockey is very highly valued.
That's right. Exactly.
It depends on the context and where you are. So, I mean, I understand. Also, it depends also on what job you're applying for.
Yeah.
Obviously, but still, yes, putting them all in the same this hierarchy of skills that need to be achieved or where you have to be good at. That is actually something where also the languages in schools struggle. Let's say it's nice to have them. It's so good if schools support the home languages and everything. But then in secondary school, everyone is like shifting towards sciences. Yeah, where say you have to do or you have to be better in maths, because if you don't have a great certain grade in maths, you cannot do this or that or study this or that. That's actually the whole system that is geared towards another validation of other skills than the languages, where the language then becomes this soft skill, which I find very unfair. And I have my reasons.
Is languages a soft skill? I think languages is
No.
hard skill, whereas culture is a soft skill.
No, I would even say also culture is not a soft skill, because if you are in whatever meeting you are and you don't understand what the other person is actually saying or what she is intending with how she's saying it, you're doomed, and you might not get a contract or whatever.
The definition of a hard skill and a soft skill. That's what I.
Yeah.
It's not the difficulty of the skill, but
yeah,
like hard skill is something that's measurable and it's quantifiable. Whereas soft skill is like sort of the intangibles, like your communication skills, your emotional IQ or EQ, right? Emotional quotient. That's sort of this, what is called soft skills. How good you are at relating to other people, right? So I think culture is what allows you to really be that chameleon, blend in, and be that bridge between two cultures, between your American and Japanese colleagues, right? That's where the soft skills, I think, really. They can each have very hard skills. They're two, engineers going at it, but your soft skills is like the lubricant.
Yeah. Okay.
So many analogies.
Yeah. No, it's true. But is there anyone who has a question or would like to share something? Maybe people are already on holidays. Some are already on holidays, like you are, or let's say your son is. This side of the pond, not yet. My children still have a month.
Is it over there now?
A little bit less than a month.
They're not done? Oh, you guys are done?
No.
End of July?
20th of July.
Well, that's like in Japan. Japan is also, they're going into summer vacation after 20th of July. And then they started in September, just like everybody else.
They started in September.
But they have a month vacation in March. The spring break is really long.
No, they don't have a month. You wish. No, they don't. Mine don't. No. But they have different vacations throughout the year, so that's enough. It's okay.
Like week-long vacations?
Week-long, or 2 weeks on Christmas, 1 week in October, 2 at Christmas, 1 in February, 2 in around Easter, and then 1 in May.
Okay. And, like how many days do they go to school? Like you probably count the number of days?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Enough.
It's exactly half a year. It's 182 days. That's how it is here over 8 months, 9 months, almost 9 months. So every month there's some form of vacation or have what are called pedagogy days, journée pédagogique.
Ah, yes,
Where
I know them. No, we don't have
the
it.
kids are at home, but the
Mm.
but the teachers they have to go to school and
They have to learn. Yes,
meetings.
here in the Netherlands they have something similar, but not all schools do this, so it depends a little bit on the school, etc. So what else can we talk about? Tell me.
Well, we're on the topic of schools, the school year and the finance. You know, I don't know if we talked about this last time. So I was saying Japan starts their financial year and their school year, and many things start on the 1st of April. It's a 12-month cycle starting from 1st of April. All the companies, their fiscal year starts on 1st of April. It's not like here you can start any month, and so they start on 1st of April. You go to your first grade, or you move up to second grade or third grade, and then you up to the summer vacation, which is starting from after 20th of July. You have a summer vacation of a month and a half, and then September, where the rest of the world starts their school year. Japan also starts their sort of not the second half, but the part after summer, and that goes to the spring break, which is March.
Okay.
And then they have that break. When they come back, 1st of April, it's a new school year. That's how they break up their year.
Yeah, here it's September. You start the school year in September.
They've been talking about aligning with the rest of the world for a long time now. It's just not happening. I don't know why. I don't know why it starts in 1st of April. I guess that's when you've got the sakura, the national flower of Japan, the cerisier,
cherry blossom. Yeah.
It's
also in Korea, right? They also.
Is that the national flower of Japan?
I don't know. Not of Japan. I don't know. I heard something, but I would need to check. I don't know. Yoshito could.
Maybe it's symbolic. I don't know. So
I don't know.
But they've been trying to synchronize it with the 1st of September, like everybody else. Hasn't happened. It's probably a bureaucratic, nightmare to do that.
Yes, and I mean, yeah, there are reasons why they don't do it that way. So why not? I mean, it becomes more complicated if you want to transfer from one school system to the other, etc. Like for your children, right? This is why you send your children on the 1st of April and the beginning of April to Japan.
Yep. Exactly. It's a good timing for them to come in and sort of just start together, and then when they come back here, they obviously start the school year here, the next school year.
Yes, that's something, and it's not.
Say this about any country. It's like, why is the rest of the world all starting in September?
But aren't they also isn't it in New Zealand or Australia? Don't they start in January or something like that? No, January, February. I would have to check. Is there anyone from New Zealand or?
I'd love to know.
Or Australia, at least from my friends, I know that they start in.
Because if it were a random thing, it could start.
No,
the
you can
first
start
of any month.
Let me check. I'm just checking.
But as far as I know,
so many tabs open.
Most countries, it's September, and Japan really is. It's all lined up to 1st of April, like every fiscal year, school year. They have all their what's it called, the investors meetings in June.
No, they start in January. I just looked at New Zealand. They start between Monday 30th January and Tuesday 7th January this year. That's the first term. So they start the first term, and the last term is.
Oh, but that's university?
No, it's school. It's school.
Okay.
So I think in Australia it's similar. If there would be Sarah somewhere, but I think she's not here.
Okay. So I guess they would also have trouble adjusting if they go to another country.
The same as in Australia. They start late January until mid-December. You see, so it's
late January.
Late January, yes, not
Why
the
not
beginning.
start on 1st of January? I don't know.
Because you want to celebrate the beginning of the year, and you cannot go to school
No, but
that
I mean,
day.
obviously, but I mean, you could start on, whatever day that
The
you start
4th
the
or
year.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the
No,
start of the,
because
as in they
people,
start in January, right?
you know why? Because people are traveling, and then they go to another place, and they want to. Yeah, it's
So
after the 6th of.
but is January is the whole month off?
I don't know.
Probably, because or else you'd be
Yes.
coming back from Christmas. You do
It
2
makes-
weeks of your past year, and then you
But-
start suddenly your new year. I mean, that would.
Yeah, but Tetsu, it makes sense because if for them the starting of the school year is in January, their summer holidays, in fact, it's summer holidays.
Yeah,
They're on
okay.
the other side of the world. I mean, of the hemisphere, half part
That's
of the
right.
hemisphere. What am I saying? So they have their summer during that time. So they have their summer holidays at that time. So they might have mid-December until end of January. They have their summer holidays then.
There you
Makes
go.
sense.
That
So
makes
that's-
total sense.
You see, there is always a reason.
Now, if that according to that logic, then Argentina and Chile should have something similar.
Yeah, let me check. Let me check. There was Claudia Baricio. You could have told us because she's from Argentina. Let me see. Argentina starts school. I don't want to. And Argentina runs from March through December.
Wow!
See?
It's all coming together now.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I imagine also let's see, also Africa, South Africa. Yeah. Yeah, also they start from January to December.
So it's all about after the summer, you go up.
Exactly. After the summer, you go up a year.
Except in Japan.
And where you have, depending on where you live, on which hemisphere you are, it's either in January, February, March-ish. So now just or September.
I just had
August. September.
The assumption that most countries they were starting in September.
No.
That's just a big misconception, I guess.
Yeah. Now we know.
Now we know.
Now we know.
I will sleep tonight wiser than yesterday.
Wiser, where the whiter.
Wider.
In German, weise and weiß is very similar. So weiß, ich bin weise, but if you are wise, you usually have white hair because you're older. Because that's being wise, a person that is young with black hair being wise, it's not possible. So, I'm kidding. We can be wise. Also, children can be very wise sometimes. But good. So.
All right.
Talking about schools, talking about that. Yeah, no one has any questions. You don't have any questions. You'd have. Are you going? I would ask them if anyone is going back to the country where their languages are spoken this summer. If they are going to have full immersion into it themselves and their children, or their children, mainly their children. Knock knock. Who's there?
Nope, not getting anything. Well, that's okay. It's okay. It's almost 40 minutes. We don't have to make this longer than necessary. It was a nice chat as usual. We'll come back and see what's cooking next week.
Yep.
And meanwhile, we'll wish everybody a happy week ahead.
Yes.
And we're at that point of return. End of the month, we start going back towards the end of the year. It's like we're at that point where we're now going back towards the starting point.
Yes.
Already.
Yes.
Year.
I see Sauda Delph is watching now. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
And Mommy, let's read. Mommy, let's read as well. Naveen.
Hope you're all doing well.
Yes.
Coming in late, but it's okay. We are ready to log off unless there's any last minute comments or questions. Otherwise, like I said, let's regroup next week.
Yeah.
We'll be here again and ready to field any questions that you may have.
Yes, same time, same place.
Alrighty.
Other topics, maybe.
We'll see you in July.
Okay.
We'll see you in the second half of 2023.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Already. Bye. Bye.